suspicion that part of Tzar Gidul Banim is the finding out about self. Is that we end up finding things out, working things out, and all of us undergo in the process of raising our children our own realizations, our own things that we work on. And I have a tremendous respect that people take chinuch seriously, working with ourselves, working with our children, and figuring it all out. Rabbi Binyomin has helped guys a lot, and through that has helped me a lot, because I have learned a tremendous amount from working with my own children and from being involved in the yeshiva. I wanted to share something with the chevra, this chevra here. There's obviously many things to share, but I want to share one point, something that lately I've been thinking a lot about, and I'd like to share with everybody here, a very practical point. I had a friend who was with me in high school. He was from out of the country, was not an American kid. He was actually very, very disciplined. He was a great basketball player, and that meant a lot to me then, and still I like basketball. He was a tremendous athlete, a very disciplined guy, a very good student. He became a doctor. He's an accomplished doctor today, and he was very serious in learning. He went to Reb Shlomo Zalman's yeshiva. He went in Eretz Yisrael to Reb Shlomo Zalman's yeshiva, was a very stark guy. I remember one day him coming with friends, and he came to my house in Eretz Yisrael. I was a newlywed. He was a similar age to mine, not yet married. And he came and he just was crying that he's learning a lot, and he was learning a lot of Torah, but it's not changing him. It's not changing him, and he's learning and learning, but he still feels like people did not have phones. I don't think pornography was an issue then, but there was definitely acting out in his own ways during Bein Hazmanims. And he came crying that he still feels like rotten and not a good person. Now, this guy eventually went off the derech. He was a Ben Torah, learning a serious guy, and he went off the derech. Now, at the time, I remember that meeting in our apartment, and I remember what we spoke about. And I don't think I told him the right answers because I didn't understand myself. And I want to share with the chevra here, Rabbi Rachmiel, the whole island. In high school, I also thought I was a tin can. Now, I was a masmid. I was not acting out. And I was learning Basmada and being successful in Torah, finishing Masechtas. But inside, what I connected to was thoughts, caring a lot about sports. When I was honest with myself, the Mets winning, I could finish Masechtas, learn till late at night and come home late. But when I felt the Mets winning, felt like it mattered a lot to me. And thoughts, inappropriate thoughts that you have, you're aware of. And the sense is that if I learn enough, it will change me. I learn just a little more, it will change me. Maybe another few years, Torah works slowly. And the Torah, ultimately, if I learn enough, maybe many years, and you see your Rebbeim who are so holy, and you feel like a tin can, but maybe years of learning, then it will change me. Years of davening, then it will change me. I thought I was a tin can, and learning many years definitely helped the tin can. When I started working in Waterbury 15 years ago, I was teaching already for 9 years in Beis Medrash, and still held that if you learn enough, and I saw eventually it impacts us, but the approach was we're tin cans. If you learn enough, you can, Torah's Meraimim, it's Megadol. Slowly over the years in Durham, in trying to help and impact people, I actually discovered we're souls. Raising my own kids has brought me there. We're big souls. Me, Rabbi Binyomin, Rabbi Baruch, Rabbi Yachmiel, all of us. And I see this in the kids. I just see it. They're big souls, one after another, from all different conversations today in yeshiva, just as a mashal, on the Parents' Day in yeshiva, we showed a video of that youngster singing Elokai Neshama Shenasata B'Tayrahi. And that youngster was killed on October 7th on Simchas Torah. You watch that video, you just see his soul. He's big. Conversation with guys, I walk out, I'm like, are you kidding me? I was talking to a bacher today who was opening up on his challenges, mamish today, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, this guy is very big. You hear what his worries, his dreams. I was very, very taken. I should have come prepared tonight. I could show you a video. They showed a video, I was not there, at the Aguda convention, of a boy describing his struggles to keep Shabbos. You'll see what I mean, just meeting our own children and the guys in yeshiva. I started chapping on me that I'm a soul. Now, it's true, it's very true that it's subtle. It's not the loudest thing in our life, but the starting point is by us all, we're souls. It's one of the first things we say in the morning, Elokai neshama shenasata b'Tayrahi. And we're souls is a starting point. Even the different thoughts that we had come from beautiful places. If we're into competition, we're tapping into Netzach. If we're into other things, they all come from very deep places of the soul. And we're not tin cans trying, if we learn enough, then. We're souls that actually learn because our soul is drawn to that. And the more and we learn Torah and we daven, souls are drawn to that. And I think that point that our essence is good and pure, it's one of the first things we say every day, like, I went to a chasna about a year ago, and a Rosh Yeshiva and his Talmidim, they were a very small yeshiva. It was about 20 Talmidim. I'm not exaggerating the slightest. They were good people. The guys surrounded me. One guy actually got a little physical. I gave a push. He was a little inebriated, and nobody meant bad. But the Rosh Yeshiva's basic time is, guys from my yeshiva have gone to you, and you almost hack the system because all of us are sad, and you let a kid be happy. Even if he says you should be happy if you're successful. He told me the Rosh Yeshiva said to me, I missed night Seder a week ago. I've been depressed since. He said the words, I'm good if I learn. If I don't learn, I'm not good. You teach something else. Guys have gone and get happy. It's not fair. Like, mechatesi, to be happy, to feel good if you're not producing. And there's a tremendous arrogance that God created wrong. There's an arrogance to it. I think Hashem did a good job and we're beautiful people. Now, I'm not promoting not learning and not davening. I'm saying we don't learn and then we're good. We learn because we're good. We're souls who can have an atiyah to ruchnius. We have to find it comfortably, healthily. It's changed my life. This attitude, my own personal steiging, has changed a lot. And in my view of guys, it's much, much different. I'm trying to find their nakuda to see it and then to encourage it, to help bring out what's there. I think this is not meant in the world to talk like I'm talking now, like we're souls, and you sound like it's meant for Kiruv. But I think this has to be taught in Brisk, in Panovich, in Williamsburg, in Waterbury, in Durham, and all of us, like in our own growth, understanding the etzem purity that we are and have, seeing it in our wives and our children, and helping bring it out and encourage it. I want to say something interesting, Rabbi Binyomin. Somebody sent me, Rabbi Yachmiel, did you ever hear of
Yes.
Ron Clark Academy?
Yes, Atlanta.
Atlanta,
He was the
Georgia.
Oprah. He got Oprah Winfrey to like highlight him, and he made a lot of money.
So I read Rabbi Yachmiel. I read his book, and I was intrigued. His school is cool, and they're very into discipline, which I like, and they're very into respecting kids, which I like. and they do a lot. It's a good school. I read the book. There's a movie about his school. What I don't like is I like the excitement. I like that his teachers are fully in, and he does a lot of cool things that we can learn from, and it's very, very neat. What I don't like is his teachers jump on the tables and they do crazy stuff to entertain. Now, I don't mind entertaining, but I don't think there's a belief in authenticity. Because we have, I like Ishmak, I'm not promoting boring, but we have something real we could tap into. We have an atiyah towards. And I think when we know that we don't have to jump on tables and do crazy stuff, I think our own children, our own families, and our own self have an atiyah to ruchnius. We're drawn by it. We don't have to do crazy things to bring it out. So I want to say that part of the journey. I went on Chol Hamoed. On Chol Hamoed, I went with my family to the American Dream Hall, and my kids went swimming. There was men hours for the swimming, so my boys went swimming. I have drainage problems in my ears, so I can't go swimming right now. So my wife and daughter went shopping in there's some Frum store there that's very good. They went shopping, but I wasn't going to go shopping there, so I sat in front. Now, normally sitting in a mall might not be the best idea for a man. I want to say I went there as a soul, and I had a wonderful time. I sat there in American Dream Hall in the hallway outside, and I felt like a soul, and I saw beautiful souls. People stopped to say hello. I said hello. I think a lot, even in our conversations with Shmira, that we speak so much to the generation, Pritzos, all the things we focus so much. I think in some ways the Yetzer Hara is part of that plan that we pound. And I agree with Tag, and I agree we need filters. I think we started to teach people. I fell to this, that we're tin cans. We're like dangerous people. And I think there's a tremendous fallacy. We're big souls. And that has to be a louder teaching than the teaching of how dangerous things are. We're actually souls that are drawn to good things. Even our taiva is like a wonderful thing. We get married, we have mishpachos. I think the view of souls, I tell often parents ask me what they could do for their kids, being less nervous. Parent will tell me, I'm so nervous. You're nervous of a soul? Souls move to Hashem. Souls are drawn to Hashem. I thought when I was younger that we were a 50-50 proposition. Yetzer Tov pushing us to good, Yetzer Hara to bad. So we're like 50-50. It's not true. We're 100-0 souls. Yetzer Hara is not like we have this evil side, like a good side, Jekyll and Hyde. It's not a truth of who we are. We're souls drawn to Hashem. But Yetzer Hara means that there are aspects about us that can be used to move us away from Hashem when they're not in their right place. Yetzer Hara is also, there is an agent of Hashem as well. Not used in the right place, it can pull us away. I think seeing ourselves like this, seeing people like this is just the truth. It's hardly a trick. It's just the simple reality. And I'm saying one thing, and I'm not being so personal. There are other things we can share. Learning with guys and being mechanech my own children has made me see this. The etzem goodness. And then the approach, by the way, what to do with children changes what to do with ourselves, because we find we have an atiyah l'tov. So it literally changes the approach with children. The Ron Clark approach is to get kids to learn something like science or the history of the Aztecs. You have to jump on tables. The word unnatural, you'll have to go to crazy ends to bring out what's not really, we're not drawn to naturally. If we get the essence of us, we're drawn there, it could be much more comfortable, more confident, more subtle. And we could bring out a chiyus that lies in each one. We could remove a lot of nervousness, a lot of worries. I've been reading about the Noam Elimelech. The Noam Elimelech, it was said on him that somebody touched the door handle of his house was chayzer b'tshuva. What was his koyach? He looked at people and realized their souls. He saw it in himself and saw it in people. I said over a kasha, the Noam Melech asked, that it's so cool, this kasha. The pasuk says, Chanoich lenar al pi darkei, and the end of the pasuk says, Gam ki yazken la yasmimenu. Teach a kid right, so in old age he doesn't go off the derech. Ask the Noam Melech. So the pasuk's predicting a kid. Somebody, don't get it wrong, dangerous. Don't mess, because if you teach him wrong, he's gonna gam ki yazken la yaser. So the Noam Melech asks, why would a pasuk ever assume neshamas go to Hashem? You can't mess up a soul. Teach him right. So gam ki yazken. How many parents feel guilt of mistakes they made? And the Noam Melech says, you can't mess up a soul. It's impossible. You all make mistakes. Souls are still pure and moved to Hashem. So what's the gam? Teach him right. Gam ki yazken la yasim imenu. Says the Noam Melech, he has another kasha also. It shouldn't say negative. It should say teach him right. So he goes in the derech. It shouldn't say gam ki yazken la yasim. The Noam Melech learns that the pasuk saying a person's going to serve Hashem. Teach him his right derech, so he shouldn't have to move to the right derech. Gam ki yazken la yasim. Don't teach him wrong. He's gonna go right. You might as well let him always be right, as opposed to he moves to the right derech. That's how he learns pshat in the pasuk. But his soul goes right. That's a beautiful piece from the Noam Melech. I wanted to say one more thing to the Chevra. I appreciate. Am I going too long, Rabbi Binyomin?
Perfect. Keep going.
I wanted to point out something, and I really want to ask the Chevra what the Chevra thinks. Something I've observed when our kids inevitably, both in chinuch of other people and both in chinuch of our own children, kids will have tainus sometimes. Kid will say, Rebbe, I got a long text yesterday, middle of the night. I got a long text from a bacher with a specific taina, and a very good taina he had. And our own children obviously will have tainas. It's normal that we're human beings. And kids today are very open, and they'll share a taina to a parent. And what our kids need from us is we hear, but we're secure enough in our own goodness not to melt and not to feel, not to be broke by a taina. Our kids need a healthy, confident. One of the worst things, even with mistakes that we really made and things we didn't know. I didn't understand, and I'm learning, in the middle of learning many things about emotions, how they work with my own children, and they don't want you to melt and to be like broken, because they want a healthy, wholesome, confident parent. And somehow that job, it's a topic on my mind, that job of hearing, of accepting, of knowing, hey, that's a good point, but still maintaining a confidence in who we are is a very important part of chinuch. So when I speak about seeing people as precious, seeing ourselves also in a certain part as untainted souls, even mistakes and things that happen, hearing it, absorbing, but maintaining a confidence, maintaining a strength. One of the worst things I think a parent could do to their kids is like be broken, a tiny be slugged up. The Gemara in Shas, there are two. When the Gemara has a kasha, sometimes it says tiyuvta and sometimes it says kasha.
He's going to
By
call
us,
that.
a taina on us is never tiyuvta; it's a kasha. Good question, good point. Hear it, absorb it, but then we're not slugged up. Rabbi Binyomin, what do you say to that? I'm curious that.
The last point, I have to be honest. The last point I missed, this whole concept of a neshama has a natiyah latov. Then and the purpose of seeing ourselves and others as I'm a beautiful neshama. If this Rosh Hashiva would be here today on this Zoom to hear this, he won't be saying to himself, if I don't know this Tosfos, I'm a piece of dirt. He won't be saying that to himself. He'll be able to say to himself, like, I'm good stuff. I don't know the Tosfos. I'm still good stuff. But, unfortunately, we use the learning in order to, as a means of feeling good about who we are.
All right.
And what I'm hearing from the Rav is it's not so. It first starts to be able to see how beautiful the neshama is.
Rabbi Binyomin, if I may ask Rabbi Kalish, if I could push back on that just a drop to understand it better. Rabbi Kalish, do you have a makar for that that's not Hasidish?
It's interesting. I want to say two things, Rabbi Rachmiel. The answer is yes, but I want to say that in general, I don't think I also used to ask myself, Hasidish or not. I think we have to drop the word Hasidish. They're tzaddikim who learned. Nobody said, the Yid HaKadosh didn't say, hi, I'm Hasidish. He just was a tzaddik learning. So I think we get caught up. Hasidic, there's no such thing. There's no like an identity thing. They're tzaddikim who learn Torah. I think we get confused, like when we say, I also look at the Litvish Hasid. I don't even know if they looked at each other. If the Yid HaKadosh and another Gadol walked into the room.
I'm pretty sure the Vilna Gaon saw a difference.
His Talmidim, Rabbi Rachmiel, ended a lot. He clearly was doing something, but his very Talmidim didn't continue what he did. So I don't.
I'm not against Hasidus by all means. I just happen to not live my life or have that orientation, and so I wonder if I know that the neo Hasidic, everyone feel good and all that nice stuff is wonderful. Kol hakavod. It's just not how I live my life. I never was into that stuff. I went to regular yeshiva and I just wasn't into that. So I'm wondering if you have Makaros, Risha, and a great actor.
I don't think I have many Makaros that were souls. I was on the best Makar I have is I was on the Chevra Kadisha for a couple of years and I saw our bodies without the soul. So I know when we're alive what the difference is. They look like me and you. They just didn't have the soul. So I don't think they're Chidushim there who our essence is. I don't think that's Hasidish or Litvish. I think there was a chinuch approach and that changes by the dar. I think the Gra was alive today, he would speak about this. I don't think this is an approach of a Shita. The Shita was what to speak about. The fact that our essence is a soul and run to Ruchnis is a fact. When I know it's called, like in the world, Neo Chasidus, and an outside view will view your being positive. I'm not talking about for a struggling kid. I'm talking about for Dan Kalish. I'm telling you my own story. My Rebbe, Rabbi Rachmiel, I visited my Rebbe last week. My Rebbe considers himself a Misnagid. He does not like, he's not Hasidish. I have spoken to him. We live today, and I'm telling you, for me, I'm not coming like sheetus or funny stuff. For me, this has changed my life. You're looking at a guy, so it's not about like just a feel-good story. I learned a lot before, but before I started looking at life like this, it was dangerous for me to be in a mall, and I sat there b'kedusha v'tara today because I learned who I am.
I agree with you, and I feel it, and I see it, and in all my work as a Rebbe, I do it. In fact, I have a thing this year with my school where I have them announce these 3 principles with all the parents. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
3 foundation. I have my parents chanting this. They know it by heart. Number 1, children are good and want to do good. Number 2, if they're not doing good, there's a reason. Number three, it's a responsibility of adults. If they're older, it's their own responsibility to identify and address the reason. This is my whole shita. However, so I agree. However, I have not, I've been going to the Torah Musar convention myself in person for 22 years. Okay? You say that this is Pashat Chinuch, Rabbi Kalish. It's not. Now you could say it should be. Okay. But Lamaisa, it is not the accepted approach of how yeshivas are being mechanchim students. Now you could say it should be. Fine. Go Kalish, go. Woo! However, don't tell me it's the mainstream. It is not the mainstream.
Yeah, I agree with you. First of all, I love those three rules. So I'm going to accuse you of being a fellow Hasidish, Rabbi Yachmiel. That you to me, like, I've heard about the way you run the school. I spoke to somebody in the school and described the meetings every morning with the whole school. I think that's masterful. You couldn't have written it better. Those three rules of the school. I tend to agree with you that it's not spread everywhere yet. I think the world's moving to this. I think the world's moving. I meet you. I'm the yeshiva. I'm like you. I'm a yeshiva guy. Was in yeshivas, and I'm like picking this up now and understanding this more. Again, I think things are moving this way. That's my thoughts, but I can come with proofs, but I'd rather say my story than come with proofs.
I also feel it and live it and have experienced it. B'poyel as a Rebbe, it's all the hatzlach I've ever had in chinuch are based on this very thing. And I'm lucky that I had a relationship with the Levine family, Rabbi Aryeh and his grandchildren. It was very much part of his worldview. But I still get pushback at times, like that it's some kind of Garfield or Kalish or new modern kind of thing. And I've never really found a clear source, or even an Achra and a Gadol.
I have Gemaras. I don't. I'll tell you why I'm not running to get. I can say sources. It's always dangerous to give like one Chazal. I can quote you a Gemara.
Yitz Rabinowitz, mute yourself.
I'm going.
Hey, guys, quiet.
That's old school muting.
Rabbi Yachmiel, I could give you like a quote of a Chazal and Psukim. It's dangerous for me to like say that it's based on that one pasuk, that one Chazal.
Okay, quote a Rosh Hashiva who lived in the last 50 years by name.
No, I can quote a Gemara, Asmachei Berebi.
Now give me a Rosh Hashiva in the last 50 years who would say children are good and they want to do good, and if they're not doing good, there's a reason, and we have to believe in the good of people, and Be'etzim are good. Name any Rosh Hashiva who said that publicly in the last 50 years outside of your base medrash. Go.
Yeah. So the one that looks to be had this model. It looked. I don't know him from close. Rev Henoch Leibowitz. I saw him many times. It appeared to me there was such a model, but I'm not a Talmud, and I can't prove that he went with that for sure.
So it's an interesting point. Let's just say it's an interesting ha'arala that, I think we have to recognize what it is. It's a chiddush that's being born out from your experience in the trenches and your own life, and mine too as a mechanech, and many others. I don't think we're not the only two, but it's coming. How do the Hasidim say it? Milatata, milaela. I don't know the sprach. It's an energy from below.
Yeah. To a degree, you're right. It's less of a shita. I'm not like fired up as a shita like you're describing. I'm much more see on myself what's happening, and on guys from a starting point of trying to fix people to coming to a place of being like, whoa, 1 second, and seeing something and like listening to it and like starting to like discover things. That's what's happening. I'll tell you
even a better raya, Rabbi Kalish. You want to hear an amazing raya to this? Okay, I once made a cheshbon. I'm a chinuch about 20 years. I made a cheshbon. I forgot the number. I've dealt with 2,500 kids, maybe. I've never met a bad kid. Not once in my life have I met a kid who does not want to do good and if he can, he would. Have you?
No.
Okay, so make a cheshbon. How many kids you've dealt with in your life?
Right.
I just Pushit never met one, and people get angry at me. I'm like, what do you want from me? I just never met one. But I'll tell you the bigger secret, Rabbi Kalish. I tell them even adults are like that. Even adults, and then they lose their mind when I say I had 300 parents in the room, and I'm darshaning. I said, even the teachers, even the administrators, the manal is good and wants to do good. That that is like, come on, guys, don't be ridiculous. No manal is good. And and the biggest avoida of it is, and I'm done with this, is that it's really a person has to believe that they're good. If someone cannot believe that they're good, they can't see it in someone else.
Yeah.
That's really
it's that spot on what you just said. Many your father has this conversation, the kids in their 20s, and Dad, why were you so tough on me? And the father responds, I didn't like myself and I didn't like you. Now, I'm not talking about levels of dislike of self, because that's more rare, but deeper yet, a tremendous respect for self. We're precious, we're big souls. We have an atiyah to ruchnius, each and every one of us, a fiery atiyah. It's not said as a kula to condone things that are wrong. We have to get misudder and do the right things. There's a Shulchan Aruch. But the underlying goodness that we are accepting that, living with that, seeing that in our children, our spouses, to me is everything. I want to thank Rabbi Binyomin for giving me these few minutes. It's a joy to hear Rabbi Yachmiel, to hear the whole chevra. Everybody here should have tremendous continued atzlacha. I really appreciate you letting me come on, Rabbi Binyomin.
Thank you for accepting. Thank you.
No, please, really appreciate it. Hatzlacha Rabbah to all.